"Come into my room, Timmy. It's time to start getting you dressed," Kathy, my 18-year-old sister, called out cheerfully. It was the morning of Jeanette's wedding. She's the oldest at 22, and she was marrying her college boyfriend, Mike, at 2 p.m. I should probably explain. I'm Timothy, 11 and a half, and originally I was supposed to be the ring bearer. That's what everyone planned. But things changed 2 weeks ago. Jeanette wanted 4 bridesmaids and 4 flower girls, all cousins. But Sharon, one of the flower girls, had a horseback riding accident and ended up with her leg in a cast. Suddenly, the perfectly balanced wedding lineup, as Jeanette called it, was thrown into chaos. She didn't want 3 flower girls and 4 bridesmaids. It'll look uneven in the pictures, she kept saying. And the flower girl dresses had already been handmade by Mom, each one fitted for a specific niece. There were no other girls in the family who were the right size. So that's when Kathy, Jeanette, and Mom sat me down. "Timmy, we wouldn't ask you this if Jeanette weren't completely desperate," Mom said gently. "But we need to ask you a big favor." "Okay, what is it?" I asked cautiously. Mom took a breath. "You're the same height and size as Sharon. And, well, you remember how amazing you were as Dorothy in your school's Wizard of Oz play last term?" Kathy immediately chimed in. "You really were adorable. No one could tell you weren't a girl. You did the role so well." I groaned inwardly. That play was something I had tried really hard to forget. 6 months earlier, Miss Cartwright, our drama teacher, had announced that the school was doing the Wizard of Oz. She asked for volunteers for Dorothy. Nobody raised their hand. "Fine," she said. "I'll choose someone." Her gaze swept across the room and landed on me. I knew the look. I'd heard boys joking before that I had a baby face and long eyelashes. And I just knew this wasn't going to go well. She walked over, gently lifted my chin, and smiled. "Timothy," she said. "You're Dorothy." My classmates sighed with relief as I stared at the floor, wishing I could disappear. 6 weeks later, there I was on stage, wearing a blue gingham dress, white socks, and shiny red shoes, singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow in front of 500 people. My mom, who did costumes for community drama groups, went all in. Rehearsals at home. Full costume. Stage makeup. Hair pinned neatly. Kathy and Jeanette would peek in and give me tips on acting natural. It was a chapter of my life I thought was behind me. And now they were bringing it up again. I stood in front of the 3 of them and finally blurted it out. There is no way I'm dressing up like a girl again. People at school still call me Dorothy. I'm not wearing a dress in front of the whole family, the neighbors, and everyone at the wedding. I can't. Jeanette looked disappointed, but she didn't argue. Kathy just folded her arms, clearly annoyed. She'd always teased me about my face or my hair. Mom sighed. "No one is forcing you, Timmy. Jeanette is just stressed and really wants everything balanced for the ceremony. Don't you want to help your sister on her big day?" "I do," I said quickly, "but please don't ask me to wear a dress. I can't do that in front of everyone." Mom's expression tightened. "Well, I'm disappointed. And so is Jeanette. Think about this very carefully. We'll talk again tomorrow." Now, I think it's time for bed. It was only 8:30 p.m., but I knew what she meant. I went up to my room. I could hear them talking downstairs for a long time, and at one point Kathy and Mom were even laughing. That made me think maybe things weren't as bad as I imagined. The next day, Jeanette came to find me. I'd always gotten along with her. She was much kinder than Kathy. "Hey, Timmy," she said softly. "I'm sorry about yesterday. I shouldn't have pressured you." "It's fine," I said. "I came up with another idea," she continued. "Instead of 4 flower girls, we'll stick with 3, and you can be the ring bearer." I thought back to my cousin Charlotte's wedding the previous year. A little boy about 7 had carried the ring on a small satin pillow. He wore a neat little suit, no glitter, no braids, no dresses. Honestly, it hadn't looked too bad. "I guess that would be okay," I said. "I do want your wedding to go well." Her face lit up. "Thank you, Timmy." She hugged me and kissed my cheek. 3 days later, Kathy poked her head into my room. "Mom's almost done with your ring bearer outfit," she said smugly. "You're going to look very smart." "Well, better than wearing a dress," I replied. "Oh, definitely better," Kathy giggled, which should have been a warning. So now she was calling me into her room. Why can't I just get dressed in my room? I asked cautiously. Because you'll need help with a few parts of the outfit, Kathy said. Fine, I sighed, stepping inside. Before we start, she said seriously, you need to promise you won't complain. You agreed to help Jeanette. And you agreed to wear what Mom made. Right? Yeah, okay. I promise. Good, she said with a satisfied smile. Now let's get started. Instead of anything strange or embarrassing, she simply handed me a neatly folded stack of clothing, a white shirt, a small vest, a bow tie, and a pair of fitted dress pants. That doesn't look like much of a costume, I said, relieved. It's more formal than what you usually wear, Kathy said, and Mom wants everything to fit perfectly. That's why we're doing this early. I changed into the dress shirt and pants, nothing weird, nothing uncomfortable, just a normal outfit for a wedding. The pants were snug around the waist, and Kathy helped adjust the vest so it sat right on my shoulders. There, she said proudly. You look great. Jeanette's going to be thrilled. I stared at myself in the mirror. I actually did look kind of grown up. A little nervous, but not ridiculous. Maybe being the ring bearer wouldn't be so bad after all. Right. That looks nice, Kathy said with a smirk. Now try these. She held up what looked like long white socks, but when she unrolled them, I realized they were shiny white costume tights. I opened my mouth to protest, but she cut me off immediately. Not one word. You promised no complaining. Remember? I was only going to say, I thought tights were for dresses. Why do I need those if I'm a ring bearer? I asked. Relax, Timmy, she said confidently. You're wearing pants, not a dress. These are just part of the full costume Mom designed. She helped me step into the costume tights the way you would for a stage play or school performance, making sure they sat comfortably so they wouldn't bunch up under the outfit. I looked down at my legs, long, smooth, shiny, and very theatrical looking. I still don't get why I need these, I mumbled. You'll see, she said, and turned to grab something else. She held up what looked like a pair of old-fashioned costume pants, apricot-colored, made from shiny fabric, with decorative trim. These, she said proudly, are called knickerbockers. People used to wear them in the 1800s. Since the flower girls have orange dresses, Mom made these so you match the color theme. It's historical. You'll look adorable, I mean authentic. But they look ridiculous, I squeaked. Timmy, she warned, you promised. So I stepped into them. They ended above the knee, exactly the style of old-fashioned stage costumes. On their own, they would have looked strange, but I could see what Mom was going for, a sweet, vintage look to match the wedding theme. There, Kathy said, adjusting the decorative ribbon at the bottom. See? Very classic. And everyone will see what nice, long legs you have for the part. My morale sank, but I didn't fight when she pulled out the next piece. It wasn't a normal shirt. It was a costume blouse, fluffy sleeves, decorative ruffles, and lace edging. Something straight out of a children's storybook. This goes with the knickerbockers, she said. All the flower girls have little decorations under their dresses, so this ties your outfit to theirs. Jeanette's going to love how coordinated everyone looks. I finally understood the laughter the night before. This wasn't a dress, technically, but it also wasn't the little tuxedo I imagined. But it was too late now. Last part, Kathy said. Your waistcoat. She held out a short satin vest made from the same apricot fabric as the knickerbockers. It's made from the bodice of Sharon's dress, she explained. Mom wanted the top half of your outfit to match the flower girls exactly. That way everything looks balanced in the photos. At that point I just sat on the bed, defeated. Kathy wasn't done. Hair time, she said cheerfully. She brushed and fluffed my hair, shaping it into a tidy, soft style, the kind you'd see on a child actor in a period film. There. Perfect, she said. She turned me to the mirror. I stared at the reflection. My hair was neatly styled. The shiny fabric of the outfit really did make me match the color theme. And although it wasn't what I expected, it somehow looked like a real historical costume. Hold still, she said, picking up a small spray bottle. Just a little to keep your hair in place. A light mist settled over my curls, smelling faintly sweet. There, she said finally, stepping back. You look like you stepped right out of an old storybook. Mom and Jeanette are going to love it. By now I felt as unhappy as possible, or so I thought. Then Kathy said, just one more thing, your shoes. She went to her wardrobe, brought out a shoebox, and lifted out a pair of shiny orange costume shoes. They had little straps and a small decorative bow, clearly made to match the rest of the outfit. Come on, let's get you finished, Kathy said cheerfully. She helped me buckle them on. You'll need to walk carefully. They have a tiny heel, nothing big, but you'll want to take smaller steps. It's lucky, Sharon, and you wear the same size. I stepped over to the mirror and stared. Shiny white costume tights. A lacy, frilly blouse. An apricot satin vest. Matching knickerbockers with decorative trim. Little orange costume shoes. And my hair styled in soft curls. I looked like I had walked straight out of a fairy tale book, just not the one I expected. I can't go out like this, I whispered. Please let me change. Other ring bearers wear suits. These are just so strange. You said no dresses, and you're not wearing a dress, Kathy reminded me. You match the wedding colors, and Jeanette will love it. You do want her big day to go well, right? Yes, but I really think you played a trick on me. It may feel that way, but this is the plan. Now please go downstairs and wait while I get dressed, and be careful not to wrinkle anything. That was when I realized the rest of the house was already full of family getting ready. My cousins Rosemary, Aubrey, and Belinda, the flower girls, plus Robert and Jason, who had arrived the night before. Kathy leaned over the upstairs railing and called, Rosie, girls, Timmy's ready, come look at his ring bearer costume. Before I could retreat, Kathy gently nudged me forward. I found myself standing at the top of the stairs in full view. The girls looked up, gasped, covered their mouths, and then burst into excited giggles. Come down, Timmy. Let us see, Rosie said, waving me over. Slowly, very slowly, because of the unfamiliar shoes, I stepped down the stairs. Oh wow, Aubrey said. Your tights are the same style as ours. And look, Belinda said excitedly. He's wearing part of Sharon's dress fabric. And the little vest, that's adorable. I reached the bottom step as carefully as I could. I can't believe it, Rosie added. He's even wearing our matching costume shoes. They gathered around me, inspecting the outfit like it was part of a theater production. I like how they styled your hair, Belinda said kindly. We went into the lounge and I sat on the sofa, trying to disappear into the cushions. How did they convince you to wear this, Timmy? Rosie asked. Did you agree? I'm just helping Jeanette, I said. They asked me to be part of the ceremony. They first asked if I could fill in for Sharon, but I said no to wearing any more dresses. So they made a different costume, and I promised Jeanette I'd help. But ring bearers usually wear tuxedos, Aubrey said through laughter. Not, whatever this is. I know, I sighed. I didn't see the costume until today. It was too late, I promised. And anyway, it's Mom and Kathy who came up with this idea. Aubrey stepped closer and looked at the little costume shoes on my feet. Well, Timmy, she said kindly, I think you're being really brave. It's a big thing to help your sister like this. She added, we'll be in our outfits for the ceremony, the photos, the meal, the speeches, and then the dancing, so you'd better get used to those shoes. She smiled warmly. You'll be wearing everything for the next 12 hours. I swallowed hard. 12 whole hours. I suddenly realized I hadn't thought everything through. I'd assumed I would hand over the ring, change into normal clothes, and be done. But the church was 20 miles away, and the reception hall was another 15 beyond that. There would be no changing until everything was over. Mom came downstairs in her full wedding outfit and hat. Right, girls, is everyone ready? Oh, sorry, Timmy, I only saw your top half. You look just like the others. And your hair is lovely, did Kathy do that? Stand up and let me see all of you together. We lined up. Mom inspected us proudly. The orange satin really suits you all, she said. And Timmy, I'm so pleased with how your pantaloons turned out. I was thinking of making them longer with extra trim, but I think they look nicer short. It shows off the costume better. I felt my face heat up. Could this get any worse? As I would learn later, yes. Yes, it could. Just then, Jeanette came in. She saw 4 flower girl costumes lined up behind the sofa, only the top halves visible, and said, But what happened? I only had 3 flower girls. Wait, is that you, Timmy? She stepped around the sofa and saw the full outfit. I thought you were getting him a suit, she said, turning to Mom. Mom jumped in cheerfully. Well, I didn't want Sharon's costume going to waste. I turned the skirt into pantaloons and kept the top half with a few alterations. Doesn't he look lovely? Jeanette tilted her head. He does look sweet, but I honestly thought he'd be wearing something more formal. Wouldn't you have preferred that, Timmy? Behind her, Mom signaled me urgently to agree. Kathy appeared behind her too, watching me closely. I panicked. No, Jeanette. I don't mind the costume. This way you still get 4 people to match the bridesmaids and a ring bearer. I just want your wedding to be great. Mom and Kathy beamed. The girls looked amazed. Jeanette pulled me into a hug and kissed my cheek. That is so sweet of you, Timmy. You'll be my extra special helper today. The girls giggled. Mom looked delighted. Kathy looked triumphant. And I realized there was no escape. I was headed to the wedding in the frilliest, brightest costume I had ever seen, in front of my relatives, neighbors, and kids from school. There would be photos. Lots of photos. The cars wouldn't arrive for another hour. During that time, the girls, now fully energized, surrounded me with questions. Do you like the costume tights? Is the fabric comfy? Your hair looks so neat. Did Kathy style it? Do you want to borrow some perfume? It's in my handbag. You'll need a little bag too. Your pantaloons don't have pockets. They ran upstairs, grabbed a small white satin handbag from Kathy's room, and handed it to me. Then they started fussing. Maybe a little makeup? Just something tiny for the photos. Let me do a touch of mascara. You're blushing already. That looks cute. Kathy came down and helped, adding a tiny bit of mascara, a hint of blush, and a soft lip tint, just so you look even in the pictures. I was mortified. It got worse. Robert and Jason, my nephews, both wearing normal shirts and trousers, came inside from the garden. Wow, you all cleaned up nice, Robert said. But weren't there only 3 flower girls? Jason walked around the sofa and stopped in his tracks. Robert? I think one of the girls might be Timmy. Robert stepped forward and took a look. Oh wow, is that really you? That outfit is something else. Are you actually going like that? Before I could speak, Kathy chimed in. Tell them what you told Jeanette, Timmy, how you wanted to help as the ring bearer and fill in for the 4th flower girl. Yes, that's true, Rosie added proudly. He's making the group complete. And look at his costume, it matches ours perfectly. Show them your tights, Timmy. I wish the floor would open and swallow me whole.